So I've been trying to decide on basically which direction to go, and because there's so many directions to go and so many things that can be talked about, but I don't want to overdo it with stuff that other people have already covered necessarily, and keep it in line with the subject matter, and so and then of course there's presentation, production, how much you want to put into that, how much I want to put into that. And here, the last few days, everybody knows, there's been a lot going on. I've had other things to pay attention to and dissect and analyze, and between, the TPP and the shooting, and then we have local stuff going on daily. People get killed here in Detroit every day. Today, two little kids, I mean, youngsters got killed because they got ran over by a car in a high-speed chase by uh, with the police and stuff, and then three other kids are in the hospital from it because this car ran up in the front yard and nailed everybody. And it's just crazy stuff all the time around here in Detroit. So I try to keep track of that. You got rapists and murderers and carjackers and gangbangers uh, and keeping up with everyday life, of course, just like everybody else. And that's part of what we're going to talk about. This is going to be about kind of the system. Well, in fact, I might just call it the system because I talked about this the other day. I ended up erasing that one. The system you live in from cradle to grave is designed to keep you unknowing of everything we've talked about thus far in this series. And designed that way over a series of time. But I mean, the basic models have always been the same. The basic methods of control. If you analyze your daily routines, you see, and people think about programming. That's why I'm touching this, because it's not just the big stuff. It's not just the stuff that happens in the news. It's not just events that are swayed politically or economically. It is literally a system that you're born into, and from day one, you're being inculcated into that system. Your daily routines and the way you're taught to grow up and believe in the things, whatever your family, but most families, it doesn't really matter. The religions and stuff don't affect the progress of the system, of the machine, and there's different people, like I said, through time that have built upon it. One of the great counters is Mr. Ford, right here in Detroit, responsible for the model of work, the production model, the 5-day work week, 8 hours a day, whatever, that pretty much, taken over everything in society as far as the methodology of how we make a living, so to speak. But the really goal of it is to make sure that you're paying taxes, and to make sure that you're babysitted and your mind is occupied on whatever mundane task you decide to train as your career, or work. And so, you're kept busy daily with your daily job for 8 hours a day. There's only 24 hours a day. And so 8 hours a day, you're kept busy on your job. Many people, many more hours than that. Some people work tons of hours. I know I used to. When I was in the siding and guttering, the home improvement business, we worked, from sun up to sundown, basically, during good weather time. And but basically, let's just stick to 8 hours. Good enough. 8 hour day. There's your babysitted, your concentrations of taken on your tasks at hand. Of course, you have to get up and get ready for that. That takes, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours for most people. Eat breakfast, get cleaned up, whatever you got to do. So, there's 8 to 10 hours gone right there. Then we have kids to take care of. Oh yes, the programming always includes procreation, or did. It has lately turned from procreation programming in the forceful family matter way because they want to depopulate. Technology has risen to a point where robots can do a lot of stuff now, and they don't need what they consider useless eaters anymore. Even at this point, it's not about the economic or taxes or numbers because there's plenty of them for them. Um, but that's again distraction. We're talking about you get home, you got your kids, you got whatever PTA meetings, sport events, etc., or you may just cook dinner, sit around all night. Average family, I think, gets at least 3 or 4 hours of nice programming through their devil box that they call the TV every night. And then you go to sleep, and the recommended hours of sleep, has always been mainly 8 hours sleep a night, right? So how many hours have we used up now? It's 12, 10, 10 at first, say another 12 for the 8 hours and 4 hours of after work entertainment or whatever it may be, PTA meetings, etc. And you start the whole cycle over again. So where is the time in there for you to actually explore yourself, explore the real meaning of life, explore extra knowledge? Except, we know it's all tight, and they keep it in turmoil. Your day is usually full of drama and turmoil, from coworkers to the news events of the day to your children to whatever, to keep you constantly riled on edge. And is it any wonder that people, will spend most of their lives clear into their middle age, what people may start beginning with what people call a midlife crisis before they realize that something's wrong here. And this system is by design. It's to keep you as part of as a cog in the machine. And it's a fancy form of slavery that keeps you thinking you're free and that you have freedom of choice when actually your choices are very limited and you just don't realize it because you're too distracted to recognize. This is a basic system that harnesses your energy, your daily energy, and focuses it mainly on their goals and their needs because most of people nowadays are career minded. It's gotten to a point where your employers are, employees are scrutinized to the max, and everybody considers himself lucky to have a job, and so the employers pretty much run your life, and a lot of people especially in the higher workforces, uh, their life is their job. Their job is their life, um, which makes them just a total part of the machine to keep the wheels turning, to keep the output going, the production producing. Um, this harnesses our energy. It diverts our attention. It people, of course, being human, manage to work through and develop higher learnings, and there's a lot of people out here that hold down jobs and then spend hours on research and are taking the efforts to educate themselves, and probably you're one of them if you're actually even listening to this. But there's so many more out there that are living the dream, uh, and you have to be asleep to live the dream. You understand when I say what I mean when I say that? So this system is part of the control mechanism, or it is the main control mechanism that harnesses you here and keeps you here terrestrial bound in both mind, in all mind, body, and soul, so that you never really think outside your box as long as your box is nice and comfortable. Sorry for any picking. I'm picking up the phone. If there's any rattling noise, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but this is how we decided to do this one. So this is the mechanism of which they keep everybody in line. They have people programmed to where people police themselves for the most part. If you get out of line, if you're outside the box in your thinking, or if you openly admit that you don't believe the status quo and the news of the day or whatever, then people will automatically turn on you and say, "Oh, you're crazy. You're a conspiratard." Or that's a good, that's one of trolls' favorite words, conspiratard, or whatever it is, and you're a weirdo. Yeah. Well, this is a self-policing mechanism of the society, which the society, that's another word for the machine. Um, has nothing to do with being civilized, that's for sure. It's civilization. Um, your energy is being blocked and controlled by other beings outside yourself as well, frequencies that affect you and that they've put in control right now, because the controllers of the planet have basically speeded up processes into the change that they want for the future millennium. And the controllers of the planet, these entities that some may call aliens, I don't really care what you call them. There's so many different labels on them from so many different cultures and traditions and time periods that the fact if you are aware that they exist, you're doing good enough, especially compared to most of the population. So, all right, energy. That's energy management in the system. And other than the big programming things, I'm not talking about the movies and your predictive programming and your social programming and all this through TV and stuff. That's just all part of this bigger system that I'm referring to. And this system needs to be, recognized and understood for what it is. Because everything here is the opposite, upside down, the way it should be. It's just like those who are awake, you see the examples and all everything you've looked at and what you've learned. It goes for the whole picture, everything else. It's exactly, we're totally not living the way we are supposed to be living. If we were, say, back in that Garden of Eden state, um, to where the energy is freely shared and given amongst all, and the negative vibrations are absent. And under those conditions, you don't have monetary systems, you don't have governments, you don't have many things that you think you need now in this society model or in this machine model that you're currently under. And many of you realize this. Many of you that do realize some of it don't realize the extent of it, to how, you think we still need money, for instance. And people argue, oh, but it's for the love of money, not money itself that's evil. No. Look at it. Look at your money today. Look at the symbols and signs on the money. I hate to tell you, but it's the money itself that is evil. Whether you love it or hate it, it is a tool that is being used against you. We can get into that sometime, but other people have done that. I just wanted to point out the system, and thank you for watching me film this. Nobody wants to even look up. Look at that thing just spouting out spunt out. See how it's spacing it? And just puts little spaces in there, turns it off, turns it on, turns it off, turns it on. And the other people
oh, that's just atmospheric. No, he's not changing the altitude or anything. There's nothing atmospheric about that. Look at them. Some spaces are super large, and then all of a sudden it comes on again. What a beautiful timing example for this. And see, that way, when they spread out and they linger, that way they make individual little clouds instead of just one long streaky cloud.